Last night on AEW Dynamite, we got the debut of Lacey Lane, formerly known as Kaden Carter in WWE. And this was a very interesting choice because AEW was teasing the debut, somebody from Florida. A lot of people were thinking maybe it would be Dakota Kai. Should we really be disappointed? I think that's a legitimate question. We're going to talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about a huge push coming for a WWE Raw superstar, and we are going to talk about a huge change coming to Dynamite and Collision. If you guys want more videos like this, by the way, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. This way you never miss a video on the channel. And as well, you could check out nordvpn.com/ango. You could get 77% off NordVPN's 2-year plan, and you get an extra 3 months. It equates to $3.09 a month. This is perfect for wrestling fans. I think we should talk about it, though. This is really, really important. Collision, Dynamite, what is happening? Well, there was an announcement during AEW Dynamite that AEW will have a mega show where it combines Dynamite and Collision together for the go-home show for WrestleDream. Now, this is kind of interesting because Collision is a show on Saturdays, Dynamite's a show on Wednesdays, and basically next week what's going to end up happening is they are going to have Dynamite and Collision back to back. And we've seen them do this. We've seen them do this a couple times actually. But a lot of people are wondering what is going on because for the foreseeable future, Collision may not necessarily be on Saturday nights. Now, some people are speculating that Collision could very well be off the air and losing its TV spot. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I really don't. But I do think it is interesting that they are testing the 3-hour thing with Dynamite. In fact, I would actually say, and I know some people will disagree with this, but I would actually like to see Dynamite move to 3 hours. This is not a new opinion that I've had. I've actually said this for a while. I think there's this issue with AEW trying to get as many talent on TV. I would say, for the most part, it would be really dope if we can get Dynamite to 3 hours and then Collision could just be a 1-hour show on Saturdays, whether it's pre-taped or not, it doesn't matter. I think that might be the best course to move forward. The truth is, Collision ratings and viewership and interest is very low. And the fact that it's very low basically tells you everything you need to know. But I don't think they should get rid of it completely. I just think adding an extra hour to Dynamite Live would make it more important, and then Collision could be kind of like your Rampage, per se. That brings us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Lyra Valkyria is expected a massive push going into 2026. And I kind of like this. According to a new report from Bodyslam.net, Lyra Valkyria is being positioned as one of the central figures in WWE's future. Sources indicate that there are big plans expected for Lyra Valkyria heading into 2026. She is being viewed as a very big piece in the women's division for the future. Now, some people don't like this, but me, I like this. I don't know, people call her the Bird Lady, but to me, I think she's so much more than that. Lyra Valkyria is more than a cool entrance. She's a great in-ring wrestler. She's not bad at promos. She has a great presentation about herself. She conducts herself well. She's professional. She's fun with social media. She's kind of become a very fun piece to the WWE programming. And I feel like her work with Becky Lynch has been relatively outstanding. She deserves a big push. But it's not just that. And that's the point of talking about this. It's not that she just deserves it. Us wrestling fans deserve newer faces, and we deserve it so much. WWE has a system in place, and the truth is, whether you guys like to admit this or not, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, these are the top guys for years. In the women's division, it's been Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley. And in the past year, we've seen newer faces emerge in the top spots. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Tiffany Stratton, Nia Jax, Lyra Valkyria. I think it's important to have newer faces winning belts, being in bigger storylines, feeling a little bit more important. When you see Lyra Valkyria on WWE programming, it basically tells you that WWE is high up on her. She is high on their list, and that's phenomenal. That's exciting. We need the same thing applied to the men's division as well. The truth is, the men's division, there's some people who could be breakout stars, but for some reason, WWE is not allowing them to break out. That's my point. So in my heart, I am excited about the idea of Lyra Valkyria getting a big push. But it cannot end there. The Chelsea Greens, the Alba Fires, there's many other talents who also deserve a big push. And I hope WWE is listening to the audience because that's what people want. Let's talk about it. Lacey Lane debuted. It was a fine match for what it was. Lacey Lane versus Mercedes Moné, fine match. But this is a talking point that I have to bring to the table because I'm getting frustrated with WWE and I'm getting frustrated with AEW and I'm getting frustrated with TNA whenever it comes to these mystery opponents, these announcements, these things that they're making a big deal of, only for it to not be that big of a deal to begin with. I understand that not everybody's going to agree with me. Kayden Carter, in my opinion, is a very good talent. Lacey Lane is a very good talent. Lacey Lane should be signed to AEW. I've said this for months. But Lacey Lane should be in the women's tag team division going after the tag team championship belts. Why do I feel like this is disappointing? Well, obviously, we live in the internet age where people are speculating and Dakota Kai is teasing. But in my humble opinion, when it comes to AEW, when it comes to doing things of this nature, I genuinely believe one thing needs to truly be said here. And this is where maybe people will disagree with me. But if you're not firing on all cylinders and making big, shocking moments, then moments like this will fall flat. Lacey Lane was fed to Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné continues to win. Obviously, she's going to pass Jade Cargill's TBS championship reign. I understand. Okay. But at the end of the day, people are disappointed about this because they felt like we were going to get something better. I know that kind of seems offensive to somebody like Kayden Carter, Lacey Lane, because she is a great talent. But the shock value, like, it's not that big of a deal. This isn't the top star that came from WWE. This isn't the indie darling that the sickos love. The match was fine for what it is. If this is a vehicle for Lacey Lane and Katana Chance, Casey Catanzaro, if this is a vehicle for them to come into AEW, what good does it help the women's tag team division? However, if they debuted together as a tag team, maybe that would have been the solution. Ladies and gentlemen, that is The Angle Show.